396-5555, Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Are you kidding me? A Friday night in Duval? Where else would you rather be? Just a minute after 6 o'clock, and the weekend is upon us. The very first one of May. The weather is spectacular. You and yours have a good one. If you're drinking, outstanding. Please do not drive. Be safe. That's my only recommendation. Do what I did. Go out and find a girlfriend who doesn't drink. It's freaking awesome. It's like the greatest perk in the history of mankind. I can't. I mean, that is like such a rating point that I think is typically dismissed when you talk about, searching for your partner. It's personality, it's looks, it's work, it's, does she get along with your friends? Is she going to nag your ass if you want to play golf? There's so many things you put in there, but how about just adding right to the top? Find a lady who does not like booze. Ding. Chalk up the box there for me. To love the game. That was like the new criteria of the Jaguars, one of the many things that oozed out of the Miller Electric Center when we talked about, the ecosystem and raising the floor and, onboarding and just all of these new terms. And it was Mike Florio, right? He came out and said that Gladstone's an AI general manager. But that component that I really enjoyed most was finding guys who love the game of football. That's not always the case. There have been so many who have played it because they're good at it. They played it because it is their livelihood. Remember Deion Sanders years ago saying that basketball was his favorite sport, right? A huge fisherman, just like Travis Hunter. Deion Sanders has always fished. But, he played baseball and he played football. He told people that basketball was actually his favorite sport. When you look at Travis Hunter, there's no question about it. He has got love of the game. And I think that again, was a huge part of the very latest years, what the Jaguars did when they went out and made their draft selections. You want to find guys. And to me, it's kind of rare. It's kind of new. I've been doing this for years. I just don't ever remember hearing that conversation about finding guys who actually do, in fact, love the game. And, if you really think about it for a moment, how many people love what they do? I certainly do. I'm blessed. 34 years. Are you kidding me? I mean, to be able to talk sports with you on a daily basis is as great as anything I ever could have asked for when I was in grade school or junior high or high school. Hell, even in college, I didn't understand. I have a criminology degree. I just never thought that it would present itself, and it has. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that make very good money, but you hate your job. And whether you fake your way through it or you just simply say, I got to put kids through college, I got a family to support, this is what I do, this is what I do well, and I'm going to deal with it until we announce our retirement day. I'm not sure. I'd love to know what the percentage of that is, of human beings right here today who actually really do love what they do. All right. It's money, right? Money. It moves the world. What about betting? What about wagering? What about handicapping? What about just flat out gaming? Okay. Today, this came across my desk, and it really surprised me. we will credit Hard Rock because I believe Hard Rock, I think they've got as many bugs out right now as the FBI. And I think if you say like another entity, you'll be fined. Okay? Hard Rock has taken over the state of Florida. And I found out when I was in New Orleans, not from yours truly, but from someone else, that you cannot wager if you're in another state. If you cross the Georgia line, right, and you want to, or maybe Georgia, I don't know, maybe they have legal gambling there. I don't know. Not yet. Okay, but I guess Hard Rock allows it for like what, 9, 10 states?
Yeah, that's right. That sounds about right. Arizona, Tennessee, a couple other states.
Couldn't get a bet off, I was told, in Louisiana last weekend when I was in New Orleans. Anyway, Hard Rock, you dive on. Is it a good? I mean, do they spend money with us?
Yes.
Okay, well then absolutely we're not going to rip them. Is it a good product? Do you like it?
There are a lot of people that have complaints about it with props and stuff like that, but it has all the games that you need.
Okay. I mean, again, I'm out of the game, kind of, but I still follow the game, right? And as soon as I get that itch, I'll admit it to everyone. You're going to bring me back in. In a way, it's kind of like Omerta. You can never really leave, right? Once you're one of ours, even if you're not practicing, even if you're not involved, at some point you're probably going to come back. I kind of envision it, me later in life, alone, cranky, and just, betting on stuff that makes very little sense. But that's kind of what I see down the road. That's not where I'm at today. That's not where I plan on being in the immediate future. But I still love the spirit of it. And I love people like the Philly Godfather that will look at you and say, it is an investment. All right? Whether you're on Bitcoin, whether you are trusting the market, which has gone really, really down and has obviously come back up the last couple of weeks, whether you do low-risk mutual funds, whether you go out and buy stock or trade. I mean, there's several different ways to make money. But very few get far ahead by gambling, because gambling on sports is so addictive. And I also think it does two things. Number one, if you win, you're going to bet again because you think you're hot and you think you're rolling. So you're going to keep betting. If you lose, you're going to try to recoup your cash. So you're going to keep betting and you're going to get after it. And yeah, the mob was involved, but you can go to Las Vegas and you can go to anywhere where there's legal gambling and you see these incredible buildings that have grown, okay? The house wins. The house always wins. The general public does lose. However, this slid across the desk today. The Jaguars right now to win the Super Bowl, 10,000 to 1. Those are the odds. 10,000 to 1. You can lay $100 right now at this exact moment at Hard Rock on the Jaguars to win the Super Bowl. And if they do, you're pocketing $10,000. You can lay $1,000 right now on the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the Super Bowl, and you would bring back $100K. Think about that. I've always looked at it this way. There's too much stress and not enough reward in playing the massive favorite. Okay? And whether that's in a golf tournament, whether that is in anything that we watch as far as team athletics, if you're okay with that, fine. And my advice has always been, let's just say right now you are on your way to the window. You got a little bit of cabbage, and, let's put it on the NFL futures right now, May 2nd. My advice has always been take one team that you think really has a chance. Philadelphia just won it. They're plus 650. They're the best. Are they going to repeat? Okay? I mean, that's what you need to ask yourself now. They lost a ton off that defense, right? Are they going to repeat? It's tough to repeat. It's just brutal. We see the Florida Panthers, and, the Florida Panthers are so well coached, and they have 4 incredible lines. I mean, their third line had 7 points in their Game 5 victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was absolutely incredible. I think Florida really does have an opportunity to repeat. In the NFL, we've seen it a couple of times. New England did it. KC did it. But, maybe you believe it's Baltimore. Maybe you believe it's Buffalo. Maybe you believe it's Kansas City. Maybe you believe it's Detroit. My advice would always be play one of those, right? Not a great reward, but, the risk is not as significant. And then you look for a flyer. Then you look for a long shot. Is it Jacksonville at plus 10,000, right? They're with Indianapolis or Las Vegas. New England plus 7,500. All right, teams that have never won Super Bowls before. Atlanta plus 7,500. Arizona plus 6,000. Miami has done some nice things the last couple of years. 2 of their better players are still on the block with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey. Plus 6,000. The Dallas Cowboys every year are incredibly competitive. Let's leave out this year because Dak was hurt. They can't win in the playoffs. They're kind of like Pittsburgh, right? They can't win in the playoffs. But that would be my way of defining how you should go after it. And I'm not asking you to be a copycat. Again, I'm not doing anything on this, but I always kind of shake my head a little bit about the guy or the gal who has so much invested in such a heavy favorite, and you're stressing your way through it all, and yet your return sometimes is, if you lay $100, you may only be getting $100 back. 100 produce 200. Maybe that's good enough for you, but my goodness, $10,000 if you lay down $100. It's tempting, Dylan. It's tempting. It is.
Always is. I mean, those $100 bets always like, hey, you can return this, but man, those long shots. I mean, you're better off just shooting up a parlay and hoping for something, or just do the Kentucky Derby tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I learned long ago never to bet on animals. I've just never, even when I was in it, I never did the Kentucky Derby. Yeah, I never bet on dogs. I never bet on horses. Well, there were a few times, but I never had any success. I tell you, this is a true story in Los Angeles. I went underground when I was working in Chicago, and we were the home of the USC Trojans on AM 1540 in LA, and I got involved wagering on turtle racing in an underground bar. It was legitimately turtle racing, okay? And for a period of about, 75 to 90 minutes or so, it was just a blast. And they would take like these little pebbles and throw them out in the turtle, what they probably, I'm sure, what's it called? Is it FEMA? I'm sure FEMA's on theirs because they probably figured that they starved these turtles, but I think that's what they did. They gave them like no food for like a week. And then all of a sudden they drop them in these lanes and they start popping out these pebbles, and the turtles start scurrying down the hardwood trying to get to these pebbles, and you had to actually cross the finish line. I think they do that with babies, right? So they do that
I've seen that with
like basketball games and stuff like that.
The mom will be on the other side of the court. Yeah.
So they do it with babies and turtles. Yeah, I've never bet on babies, okay? But I did make the mistake once of betting on turtles. Again, my advice to you, never bet on an animal.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, Rich Strike, the horse, 80-1 odds. There were people that won like massive money in the 2022 Kentucky Derby.
That was a big payday for so many. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Donovan Darius in 5 minutes. Look forward to the conversation with the greatest safety to ever play here in Jaguars history. I want to tell you that Shmunez Vision gets us started right here on this Friday. All right. And, I talk often about needs and wants. What do you need? All right. Would you like 20/20 vision for the rest of your life? That would be a want, actually. That'd be laser eye surgery. Talking about more than 30 years worth of experience when you bring in Dr. John Hunt and Dr. Neil, Dr. Catherine Shmunez. How about needs? That would be, unfortunately, a situation involved with cataract. You may need cataract surgery. If so, again, these are the doctors who will perform the surgery, and you're going to be able to sit down with them and talk it all out. That is not always the case. There's a lot of these eye practices where they'll send you to a surgery counselor. Just imagine that for one moment. If you are going to go under and you're going to have surgery on your eye, don't you want to talk to the individual who is performing that surgery? That is a guarantee, and it's one of the many reasons why Shmunez Vision is the best around. Check them out online. Go to Shmunez Vision. You can also grab all of the testimonials on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. Best way to join us tonight, text line 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Let's welcome in those as well who've got us on YouTube at 1010XL into the night. All right, we got plenty to do on this Friday. Let's start with Donovan Darius. He goes into the night.
Through thick and thin,
I love my Jaguars.
your home for Jaguars football
Forever and ever and ever.
is 1010XL.
Ballou here for Shmunez Vision. Why Shmunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Shmunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Shmunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit shmunezvision.com today. Here you can see.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the trumpet call heard round the world. Experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 3rd, witness the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on May 3rd for the Kentucky Derby. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
The aroma, flavor, the bliss. Nothing matches a great cigar, and now you can indulge yourself with My Father's Cigars. Come to Tobacco Cove on Saturday, May 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. for an incredible cigar event featuring food, drinks, and specials on cigars. This is your chance to embrace the joy of My Father's Cigars at Tobacco Cove on Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies Cold Case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case, plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona to the king of beers to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years. and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes here with a challenge. A challenge might not be the best choice in words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the number 260 be a little nicer on your eyes and on your joints? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in 9 weeks. Hacker dropped his first 40 in just 6 weeks. Dempsey, Blue, and everyone else I know, same results. And we've kept it off. The best thing about Awaken 180 weight loss, it will completely change the way you think, see, and feel about food. The results are real, attainable, and the process simple with Awaken 180. Take the opportunity and drop 40 by the 4th. It all starts with just one call to Awaken 180 weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, what a great weekend it's going to be, the 1st of May. And the weather is spectacular. What a weekend to golf. And whatever it is that you got planned, just be safe out there. Tonight's show brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. You've been in a car crash. That is a huge concern and a problem. I'm going to tell you all about Alexander Law Practice in 10 minutes. And I've known Rick Alexander for quite some time. But right now, let's bring in Double D, the best safety to ever play right here in Jacksonville, is Donovan Darius. And he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. Donovan, always a pleasure.
What's going on, Big Rick?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm doing good. A little golf for you this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, well, me and Beasley just finished playing golf over at Queens Harbor. It's what I call a version of skins and spins. So we out there golfing, and I have my fishing pole.
Okay.
So I caught 8 bass, and I had a round of I think 87 or so. So skins and fins was our little addition for the day, me and Bees.
Well, you took out the fishing pole recently at Cimarron, and you didn't catch anything that day.
No, I think because you were there. You know what I mean? But we weren't there. And there you go.
All right. We had a conversation at that point about, the Jags were getting closer to the draft and what were they going to do. And at that particular time, Travis Hunter, it was almost like don't even bother having a conversation about it because it's not going to happen. So before I ask you about him, what went through your mind when you heard that Jacksonville had given up all that draft capital to move up 3 spots to get Hunter?
I think it didn't have to do with just this year, but I think over the history, even it's the last 5-10 years, I think Jacksonville was was due for trying to make a bold statement and trying to make something that shocked the world, but then also really made sense. And I think with the new staff between Gladstone, Coach Liam, and Pacelli, I mean, you got guys with so much talent. You have guys that are, that are young. I mean, just daring. And I think at the end of the day, they wanted to make a splash. They wanted to make, a mark and say, hey, this is who we are. The old regime was the old regime, and let's start off fresh. And no way better to start off fresh by making a spark, such as moving up 3 picks and picking a guy who was, by far the number one college football player last year.
You were a first-round pick here years ago. Can you kind of put yourself in his shoes? What was it like when you heard his name called, and what do you think, he was dealing with all of that anticipation?
I think, we're totally different people. I mean, never did I play both ways in college. I mean, he and have the star power that he had and the notoriety and the pressure. And so for him, there's a tremendous amount of pressure, but I love him and his personality and the way he approaches the game, which is he's all about business. And so whatever team he comes to, just like when they kept interviewing him, he's just saying, hey, you guys made a great decision, because he's confident in himself to do what it is he did. I think the thing for me, when I was coming out, I could have went anywhere from the first round, second round, third round, but he was a direct, shoe-in, to be one of the top draft picks. But as a whole, when you do get drafted that high, they always say, if you want to change your generation, if you want to change the culture of your team, you got to hit a home run with at least your first round and your second round draft picks. And so you think with my year, it was me and Fred Taylor. You think about Pacelli's years, you think about Kevin Hardy's years, you think, and so those guys coming in that first round have to come in and make a major impact right away. And I think Travis Hunter is definitely that type of guy.
Donovan Darius, our guest, former Jaguar, joining Rick Ballou. As a defensive back, and the ability for you this past couple of years to watch him play at Colorado, did you foresee him being a corner first and not a wide receiver?
Well, the thing about it is different, because as a wide receiver, he's basically going as fast as he needs to go against the defenders just to get open. But as a defender, you're basically almost full speed the full time. And so watching him, I can see him on defense. I mean, especially with Coach Prime being his coach, probably giving him all the game, giving him all the tips, and, along with his talent to just be better than the wide receivers he went against. He was by far a ball hawk. He was great. He had great instincts, great closing speed. And so I just seen that a phenomenal player that, hey, when the ball's up in the air, he was going to go get it. And he didn't get a lot of, pass breakups and a whole lot of interceptions, because teams did not want to go against him.
Mm-hmm.
They did not threaten him that way. And so, the fact that he didn't have all those numbers was a gold star for him, because teams were just intimidated, from that standpoint. But defensively, what I saw for him is that whenever the ball was in the air, he was there. And then even from a physicality standpoint, he made tackles. And I think in this generation nowadays, especially with the rule changes, you have to be a guy that's confident with the ball in the air and confident in your ability to make tackles.
I remember when you were selected, the late Dick Geron said you were going to bring some violence to the football field. I thought it was one of the greatest sound bites in Jaguars history. And then you got in and you learned a complex defense. Well, the game has continued to evolve. Donovan, what's it going to be like? I mean, he's a 4.0 student. He doesn't go out. He's like the perfect guy to draft. But how troublesome do you see it being to learn a totally new offense and a totally new defense?
No, it's not that troublesome, especially, your discipline. You're only as good as the discipline of your techniques and the discipline of your work ethic. And he's been able to do that over the years, coming from Jacksonville State and then also going to Colorado. And so he's had to do something that most people don't have to do, which is understand and learn the whole offensive playbook and also learn the whole defensive playbook. And so he's coming with a work ethic, discipline, technique, all of those things, and a game plan towards what gets him prepared to play on Saturdays. Now he's going to be able to do that in terms of what it takes for him to play on Sundays. Now, do I believe he's going to play both ways 100%? No, absolutely not. There ain't nobody that can do that 100%. However, do I think he'd probably play full speed, full go, full time maybe on offense and then put in some packages on defense or vice versa? I think that's more likelihood. But I think at the end of the day, being a professional and he's had practice at it, this is nothing new for him, meaning trying to learn the offense, defense, and go out there and try to be the best and make plays and be the playmaker that changes the difference of the outcome of the game.
Final moment with former Jaguars safety Donovan Darius joining Rick Ballou as we go into the night. What do you know about their second overall pick, Caleb Ranshaw? He spent 3 years at Troy, then followed his coach to Tulane, but he's got, nickel experience and some boundary experience. The Jaguars plan on playing him at safety.
He's one of those guys and being drafted, I guess it was the third round, the second pick for the Jaguars. That is the typical example for guys when we talk to college DBs and all that, even NFL DBs, and say, you know what? If you go out there and play, they'll find you. And that's what he did. He played corner most of the time. He played some nickel. He had great numbers in terms of his 40-yard dash, 4.33, and his vertical 40. And so the fact that he was a playmaker in college, and and then you go back and they look at the grade and they say that he was a consistent tackler. I can't never outstate it more than anything. That's what I wanted to pride myself on, not being a big hitter, but a consistent tackler. And so when you look at the reports on him, they said that his tackling ratio, missing tackling ratio was very low. And he was very efficient in all the tackles that he did. And so when he got his chance at the Senior Bowl in front of all the top guys in the country, from all colleges, and they put him at a position that was different from what he's played, he showed out.
Yeah.
And so from a scout, when they're looking at that, they're saying, wait a minute, I got tape of him at corner, I got tape of him at nickel, and I'm seeing him in person in 1 week, put into a position and excel.
Yeah.
And so by far, he's saying that that's a great value player, and that's somebody we want on our team.
Someone like me will say the guy's never played safety. Why go for a pick like that? Someone, and obviously I never played the game at that level. You have. Did that enter your mind that, hey, the guy, even though he got a little bit of experience at the Senior Bowl, he's never played safety? Was that a concern for you?
No, because what stood out to me was as a defensive back, what do you need to be able to do? You need to play zone, you need to be able to play man, and you need to be able to tackle. And so he showed that he can do all three of those things. And so it's a matter of just putting him wherever. The fact that he played corner and he had that speed, that said that I can run with anybody. And then the fact that he was a great tackler says that, hey, we want to put you at safety. I got here, if you can remember the story with Dick Duran, was because we had a league of Eddie George, Ed Jerome Bettis, Dylan. We had big guys. And, our safeties that we had before I got here, no stunt to them. We had Chris Hudson was about 5'9", 5'10". We had Travis Davis, another 5'10" guy. And they wanted somebody of size and that has speed. And so for this guy to be able to come into a league now where it's a pass-happy league, you got to be able to cover people in space. You got to be able to tackle in space, and you got to be able to come downhill and get the ball. And so the fact that he has the intangibles that you look for in the defensive back. Mike Logan was a prime example. He went to West Virginia. He was a corner. When they got him here, he played safety and he played nickel. I think if you have the speed, and you have the ability to tackle, then they can put you in any different positions from there. And I think that's something to his attribute, that at the end of the day, he can be used at all different positions.
Haven't heard from Mike in a little bit. Last I knew, he was doing sports radio in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed Mike Logan. Always enjoyed talking with you, Donovan Darius. I appreciate it as always.
Hey, man, Rick, appreciate it, man. Good job, and go Jaguars, man. Let's do it this year.
There he goes. We'll talk before then. Obviously, that is Donovan Darius, one of the great safeties to ever play here, historically speaking, for the Jaguars. You want to look up a great soundbite? Pull up the former defensive coordinator, Dick Duran, talking about Donovan Darius and his comment about he's a guy that's going to bring some violence to the football field. I remember being in the building during the draft, hearing that, and it was almost like a goosebumps effect. Because Dick Geron was kind of even to us anyway, kind of even keel. I mean, he wasn't certainly like Coughlin. I don't know what he was like behind the scenes, but to me, that was one of the great comments that has ever been made by any Jaguar player who was drafted. All right, tonight's show brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. If you've been in a car crash, we feel awful for you. We do. Rick Alexander and his staff, they've been around for more than 30 years. They're going to focus on getting you through the entire process, okay? You may have tried to call a couple of law firms, and they said they get back to you, and they haven't. I can't imagine how aggravating that must be for you if you're wounded right now. You're up against it. You may be out of work. Your car may be damaged. At Alexander Law, they're going to help you through that entire process. You'll never come out of pocket during the litigation, okay? That can be time-consuming. It can take quite some time, no doubt about it. So never let that be a concern for you. You're going to get the individual care that you deserve. Just go to alexanderlawpractice.com. That's alexanderlawpractice.com, or for a free consultation, give them a call. 400-6600. All right, we got a ton to do tonight. I'm fired up about this Friday night show. Let's get you involved in the rotation as well. The best way to do it is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can always get us on YouTube, right? Just go to 1010XL into the night. And you can get me on Twitter and or X. Go to Ballou. That's Ballou 1010XL.
Your home for Florida Gators baseball is 1010XL.
The Gators look for a weekend full of wins against South Carolina. Friday night, Saturday and Sunday afternoon on 1010 a.m.
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The Florida Gators have made a valiant effort, bouncing back from an uncharacteristically rough start to open up the season. With 3 straight SEC victories and winning 7 of their last 9 conference games, the Gators hope to keep it reeling starting tonight as they head up to Columbia, South Carolina to begin their weekend series with the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Fantastic news here. Due to overwhelming response, Beers Diamonds extending their amazing earring and bracelet sale for Mother's Day. Hicken here. So now through Mother's Day, you can still save up to 40% off diamond earrings and diamond tennis bracelets. It's Beers' most ambitious offer ever, and response has been incredible. The corporate-owned big box stores can't touch these prices. Beers, locally owned, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you go over there. The freedom to give you pricing you deserve, highest quality diamond jewelry. Celebrate the mothers in your life with something they'll appreciate for decades to come. They also have special pricing on other Mother's Day favorites, including colored gemstones, pearls, pendants, and fashion jewelry. Beards Diamonds, your destination for making this Mother's Day truly special. Don't miss Beards Diamonds' biggest sale ever. Up to 40% off Beards' already beatable value price. Now through Mother's Day at the Town Center. Only locally owned jeweler. It's Beards Diamonds.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third at 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 2nd, 1968, in the NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics defeat the Los Angeles Lakers 4-2, winning their 10th NBA championship.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-filled sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks on Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. Go Sharks!
Prosser here. The Sharks look to get back in winning form this Saturday while you enjoy a fun-filled evening. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-filled, family fun, and check out our hometown Sharks. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff, 7 o'clock at the ViStar Memorial Arena. For tickets and the family 4-pack information, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700.
Go Sharks!
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has branched off from on-road to off-road. Give us the latest on what they've got.
They've got the 250 and the 450. Rick Carmichael designed these bikes himself, and they are bad to the bone.
So you're talking about a really cool effect from a bike off-road that Triumph had on-road forever.
It is, and it's out there winning races, and it is fun to ride.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville, their showroom on Atlantic near Regency, or online on their Facebook page.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Thank you to Donovan Darius. Good stuff there. You bring former players on because they played the game. And again, the obvious response for me with the second and third overall pick for the Jaguars, which went 88 and 89, would be you're taking Caleb Ranshaw. You're taking Caleb Ranshaw and you're taking Wyatt Milam, and you're asking them to go from slot corner to safety and left tackle to guard. And guys like me who tapped out in high school, right? Our initial response is, why not draft the guy who played that position? Oh, the GMs are always the smartest guy in the room. I've had this problem for forever. I mean, Trent Baalke always did it. He took Anton Harrison, who all his starts at Oklahoma at left tackle, put him at right tackle. But you talk to a guy who's done it, who's been in the game, and I'm sure they laugh at guys like me. If you're a football player, you're a football player. Yeah, there's going to be an adjustment period. Yeah, you're learning something new. But they saw him work at the Senior Bowl, and they believe that Ransaw is going to be a very good safety. And a good example he used with Mike Logan. I'd forgotten about Mike Logan. Mike was one of my favorite guys to cover. I do. I think he's still doing radio in Pittsburgh. I had seen him at a long, long time ago. I think it was back when the ACC meetings were in Pinehurst, before they moved to Charlotte. It's been a while since I've seen Mike Logan, but I thought it was a very interesting point. So, and every team does it, right? I just don't cover every team. I thought it got a little crazy with Bulky. He seemed to be doing that with everyone, outside of Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that was about it. All right, Brian Thomas Jr. A year ago, certainly a very good pick. It's going to be a great weekend at the Blue Crab Crab House. Remember, Sundays, they open at noon. $2.50 Bloody Marys, $2.50 mimosas. Open tonight till 9. 4:30 to 9 on Saturday, and then again noon to 9 on Sunday. Great time of year for the patio. Full bar. You can order online. You can order takeout if you want. And remember, right off of San Jose, located there on Julington Creek Road. Here's a guy. Let me see this. 0489 says, Ballou, he reached for every pick, in my opinion. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. But I have to say this. The grades that came in, and I know in a situation like this, I didn't even grade the draft. I never grade drafts because I don't think you can tell, until 2 or 3 years down the road. And I understand that hometown grades in every city could be slanted in a very positive way. But the national grades that came in were really good for Jacksonville. I mean, I saw several A's, if not, B's, B pluses. Can you think of a low grade? Does anyone stick out for you, Dylan, that you saw anywhere that the Jaguars were rated, C or worse?
No, I saw B mostly everywhere. I mean, everywhere that I saw was, okay, you gave up a lot to get Travis Hunter, but everybody else was pretty standard.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised by that. But, there's got to, listen, there are still quite a few people out there that are convinced that the Jaguars are going to jag. And that is typically your term, not mine. And I get it. It's incredibly frustrating. And, you've heard people like me year after year after year say it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I didn't say that a year ago, but I certainly did 2 years ago after they really surprised people, in Doug Peterson's first year with all those come-from-behind victories. And it was just astonishing how they came back and won all those games. And, down 27-0 beating L.A. I mean, you can really make the point. If Christian Kirk catches that ball, they beat Kansas City in Kansas City. I know folks out there hate when I mention that, but, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I do. The way I looked at free agency, I thought that they were just trying to, I don't want to say gradually improve themselves, but it's not like they made a massive splash in free agency. There was some criticism there, right? I still have some articles. They ripped, spending all that money for Hainsey, for a guy who was a backup, for their only 2 defensive moves being guys who are going to be 30 and 31 years of age, respectively, during this year's season in your defensive backfield. Okay, they didn't unleash, a massive offer for one of the higher-rated players. It just kind of felt like they're building things up. Now, all of a sudden, that this has settled in a little bit, I don't know if second-guessing is the word. But, maybe they did find something. Maybe this Fred Johnson guy can play left tackle. Maybe Makari, even though he's played all 5 offensive line positions, the one he's played least is right guard. Maybe he's going to be fine there. And certainly what they've done with the draft, it looks like these top picks are going to be ready to go from day one. Hunter, Ransaw, Milam may all be day one starters. The Bayshell Tootin situation is there are people who believe when it's all said and done, he gets the majority of the carries this year for the Jaguars, right? When I heard his name called, there's no way I thought that. And I had seen him play. I'm not going to lie to you. I never saw Ransaw play. I didn't see Wyatt Milam play. After that, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, right? I mean, Kaiser and McLeod, role players, special teams players. But I believe guys who will be active on Sunday, guys that will play. Ray Lane is absolutely a special teams guy. They lost a couple of special teamers. They lost Caleb Johnson. They lost Tim Jones. So, those are contributions right out of the gate for this year's football team. All right, let's get ready for our second hour. Why don't we do that? A guy wanted me to ask if Donovan Darius hit him straight today. And he said he caught a bunch of bass. So he had some fun out there. And, when we played a couple weeks back, he did. He's got a fishing pole right in the back of his golf bag. And if you're slowed down a little bit on the tee or wherever, he's just going to drop a line and do some fishing. So he's got that in common with Travis Hunter. No question about it. Let's get ready for our second hour. A few things I haven't had a chance to do this week, which I want to finally get that opportunity to do, is, I hinted on the 25th overall offense that came out this week in fantasy. And I know that fantasy and offense in general, I'm sure there are differences. Again, I don't play fantasy league football. But this really upset my stomach. I'm expecting a top 5 offense this year, okay? Not 25th in the NFL. So let's explore that. And I haven't been able to really get into Mike Florio's comments on James Gladstone. I know it's ruffled some feathers. I just haven't had the opportunity. I've been so busy that we haven't been able to get to that. So I think tonight's a real good time for those two things to get discussed. And we'll do that as we begin our second hour. If you want to join the conversation, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also get us on Into the Night, 1010XL on YouTube. Hour number 2 is coming up.
Franz Wagner gets a step.
He jams it.
I'm Orlando's Magic Man, Franz Wagner.
A German hammer.
On Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law.
It's the NBA playoffs, and Hurricane Grill & Wings has slam dunk specials like $3.75 Miller Lite drafts with 30 bold wing flavors, ice-cold drinks, handcrafted cocktails, and big screens everywhere. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Mia here, and I'm just going to cut to the chase. What you really want to know is, why buy from Arlington Toyota? How about over 800 vehicles, one lot, 60-day exchange, and friendly credit for everyone? Plus, right now, get $0 down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2022 Toyota Corolla. Or how about no payments till August 2025? Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter-mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, C-O-Y-L-E, jacks.com.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080. St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, last night we talked about 5 teams who had an opportunity to close out a series on the road. 3 of the 5 were able to accomplish that. Edmonton was the only home team that could clinch, and they did. But Toronto moves on to the second round, knocking off Ottawa. Las Vegas went into St. Paul, Minnesota last night. And the Golden Knights knocked off the Wild. The Avalanche stay alive. Game 6, a victory over the Dallas Stars. My goodness, Game 7. What a matchup that's going to be between Dallas and Colorado. So only one game on ice tonight, and that's Winnipeg. They're in a similar situation. They can get it done on the road in St. Louis and close that out in 7. Obviously, the Colorado game will be back in Dallas. That'll be Saturday at 8 o'clock. Thank you. The schedule makers absolutely did get that one right. And then we saw Detroit absolutely implode last night. So the Knicks got it done on the road, 116-113. And again, the Clippers even up their series with the Denver Nuggets as well. So the Nuggets back in action this weekend as well. They'll try to close things out. And one game tonight in the NBA, Golden State up 3-2 in the best of 7. They'll try to advance in San Francisco against the Houston Rockets. So Denver fans, you got hockey tomorrow night at 8 on the road in Dallas. You've got basketball tomorrow night at home against the Los Angeles Clippers. 2 Game 7s going head-to-head against one another. Greg Popovich announced his retirement today. 29 years. He's going to move to become the president of the San Antonio Spurs. Won 5 NBA championships. Things have been kind of rough on him lately. Seems like a very angry guy. It seems like most of the sound bites I've seen on him over the last couple of years, he's screaming about politics. So maybe that'll be the direction he does go if being president of the San Antonio Spurs does not work out for him. All right, let's get to this right now. First of all, I'm very ignorant when it comes to fantasy, all right? I have never been a fan of fantasy sports. Now, it's twofold for me. I think fantasy football has absolutely helped the NFL. It's helped the NFL by leaps and bounds. It's brought casual fans to the game, right? It has. And the disappointing part to me is I think there are a lot of fans nowadays who are far more interested in how they're doing with their fantasy league than whether or not the team you grew up with and you identify with actually wins games. And, to me, the conflict of interest is with a gambling background, as I always talk about, I couldn't see doing both, right? To me, it's about everything you really digest when it comes to wagering on a game. And there's so much material to go over. I would hate to be fully entrenched in that and pick a side or pick a total. Again, I always have more success picking totals in the NFL, not in college, but in NFL. And, the college lines can be absurd, right? You can have 25, 30, 35-point lines against directional schools or top and the bottom in power conferences, where in the NFL, for the most part, there's 7 points or less. Most games are around 3 points. It's easier. But totals, over-unders, I always enjoyed. So to me, that was always cloudy. So I just stayed away from fantasy. Let me ask you, Dylan, because you're a young guy, and I'm sure if you don't play do you play fantasy?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you and your buddies get fully entrenched with this. I read this fantasy article that said after free agency and after the draft, they ranked Jacksonville as the 25th best offense. And I almost lost my stuff because I'm telling you, my expectations are for a top 5 offense in this city. Now, you may say, Ballou, it's not going to happen this year. They averaged 18.8 points a game. They were 26th in the NFL. How much can you realistically expect them to improve in 1 year? If they go from 18.8 to 21 or 22 points, is that enough? If they go from 18.8 to 25 points, is that enough? I would honestly like to see this team be up in the high 20s, 27.5, 28, be up there with Buffalo, be up there with Kansas City, be up there with Detroit. And they may get there. My feeling is that most of you would say it's not going to happen in year one. But let me ask you straight up. When it comes to fantasy ranking them 25th, and me just looking at it as the 25th best offense, is there a big difference between fantasy team rankings and overall offensive team rankings?
Yes. So I know, like Brady, for the longest time, whenever they were in their Super Bowl runs, he was never usually like a top 10 quarterback. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a good year fantasy-wise last year because he didn't light it up. Fantasy right now, Trevor Lawrence ranks like 19th among quarterbacks. Running backs is the hardest because you don't know who's going to be the go-to. Tank Bigsby and ETN like mid-low 30s. And I'm trying to find, so Brian Thomas Jr. Unanimously is a top 10 receiver, maybe top 5. And then Brenton Strange is probably going to be right around 15, maybe 20. So that's kind of where you have to look. It's all about stats. So, I mean, your quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, when he played for the Lions for the longest time, whenever they trailed a lot in games and he would, add another 150 yards and add another touchdown or two, it would help out a lot. It doesn't really add sometimes, but I mean, Josh Allen is one of the top quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson's right behind him. So sometimes yes, but most of the time no. It doesn't reflect.
I appreciate you saying that. I feel somewhat better now about the 25th overall ranking. And again, you brought up some reasons why, and I guess I probably could have figured that out. But again, I'm not involved in the fantasy football stuff whatsoever. All right. So let's take that. Jacksonville this past year, 18.8 points a game, 26th in the NFL. In 2023, they averaged 22.2 points a game. With the changes they have made, brand new offensive system, brand new offensive coaches. All right, the only one who returns is Richard Angulo as your tight end coach. You bring in 4 brand new offensive linemen in free agency. You draft 2 free agents. You went out and spent big money on a wide receiver. You drafted a wide receiver who is the best player coming out of college. You added 2 tight ends. You added 2 running backs. Where do you expect Jacksonville to go in one season? Again, the starting point is 18.8. The schedule will not be released until May 14th, and that has a lot to do with this because home and away, cold weather games, warm weather games, traveling abroad, the time, the dates, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that all comes into play. 2 consecutive road games in a row, 3 consecutive road games in a row. Where are you around Thanksgiving? Where are you around Christmas? Where are you playing, around New Year? All these things factor in, right? But we don't have that information yet. I'm asking you tonight. Honestly, where do you see this team going before they've even gotten out on the grass? The first time we're going to see them, the rookies a week from tomorrow on May 10th, and then we get the veterans, the 90-man roster, we will see on Monday, May 19th. No pads, just out there, working on their craft, learning the new offense, learning the new defense, et cetera. But give me a number. Where do you think Jacksonville can go in 1 year? I'll start with you, Dylan. But realistically, and if you want to say best case scenario, that's fine. But how much do you really believe they can improve in 1 year?
I think the offensive line can definitely improve. The run game can improve. I would say they were 18 points per game a year ago?
18.8.
So you could have definitely improved to, I would say, 21 to 22, which is a big jump.
It is a huge jump.
3 to 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say you can improve to 21 points per game from a year ago, just because I mean, how bad it was, a year ago. It felt like there was just nothing you could do offensively all game. You never got to a fast start. You never could score in the first quarter. Never could run the ball. You had one threat. Now you have another threat on the outside. Running backs by committee. I would say at least you improve by 3 points. And then the red zone offense, something that was harped on a lot to start training camp last year, could definitely improve.
That is a forte for Liam Cohen. Running the football is a forte for Liam Cohen. Last year, Liam Cohen in Tampa Bay took Baker Mayfield in that offense to 4th in the NFL in scoring. 29.5 points is what Liam Cohen had with Baker Mayfield. Now, I get it. He's got a Hall of Famer with Mike Evans, who missed some time. He's got another very good wide receiver in Chris Godwin, who missed a lot of time. Kind of put it together with a tight end grouping, and absolutely put it together with his running backs, including a 4th-round selection in Bucky Irving, who just took over the job. And again, Tampa was last in rushing in 2023. They improved into the top 3 in 2024. I think realistically, Jacksonville can improve by 4.5, 5 points a game when it comes to scoring. So that would put them in the 22.3 to the 22.8 points a game. And I know that doesn't sound like an awful lot to you, right? But I'm trying to be as honest as I can with myself. I just don't expect them to go from 18.8 to all of a sudden 27.5 points in one season. Stuff like that very rarely happens. If they were to get up to 22.8, according to last year, they would have been, this doesn't even give us a number. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They would be tied for 13th. Much better. My expectation is for this to be a top 5 offense, right? And it's not like it's going to happen next year or that's it. No, I mean, this is a bad roster. Oh, excuse me. This was a very bad roster. They have worked hard to improve it. They brought in 10 free agents. They brought in 9 draft picks. They've brought in 20 undrafted free agents. They're going to bring in street free agents. They just added an 11th free agent in Emmanuel Ogbah. So it was a bad roster, right? And it was a bad team. I didn't even mention the defense, which is a big part of all this. They were last in takeaways. They had 8 defensive takeaways, dead last in the NFL. They had 1 on special teams. This defense has to come up big. You've got to play complementary football. You got to make plays on defense and give your offense a shot. Your defense, let's say they put together an 8-play drive and they move it 40 yards and they settle for a field goal. And it took 4.5 minutes off the clock. And the defense on the other side is tired. Well, all of a sudden, your opponent's offense comes out and it may be play 2. And you get a pick on their side of the field. So what happens is you got a tired defense coming back on the field, and you got Lawrence in the offense going right back out. That stuff never happens. It did not happen last year. That's for sure. The Jaguars were last in the NFL in yards per play allowed. Okay? 5.9 yards. That is absolutely putrid. Think about that. They averaged allowing 5.9 yards. Let's do the math. 1st and 10 for the 25, handoff, picks up 6, 2nd and 4. second down, swing pass, first down, opponent. I mean, you talk about another cure for weight loss. Just go through the Jaguar statistics. They are awful. They are just terrible. They were last in pass yards allowed. They were 32nd in pass rush win, the metric from ESPN. They were 27th in ESPN's run stop rate metric. Okay, I mean, these and what will look through the rose-colored glass fans say, well, they lost 10 games by one possession. Yeah, they were. So as bad as this team was, you lost 10 games by one possession. If you can improve your offense by 4.5 points a game, 5 points a game, and just improve somewhat defensively, 4-13 can easily be a 9-8. And a 9-8 can win the AFC South. This division is dysfunctional. You are so lucky to be playing in the AFC South, right? I mean, this is like playing in the Big 12. Now that Texas is no longer there, and Oklahoma is no longer there. This is like playing in the Atlantic Coast Conference, where Florida State is really down. All right, and what do you got over there? You got Clemson and I guess Miami. I mean, what else do you really have that threatens people in the ACC? It's really encouraging if you do look at it that way. But I want to hear from you. Let's get to it here on the other side of the break. Tell me what you believe this football team can do in one season. All right, averaging 18.8. That's where they were a year ago. Where will they go in 2025? Come back, grab your reaction. Hey, if you want to join us, best way to do it, 641-1010, text line. Brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also, you can get us on YouTube. Go to 1010XL into the night.
This is Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Steve Wonder of the world.
1010XL. 1010XL.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache, Shinatri Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shinatri Chiropractic, 743-6700.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to tell you guys about Lift Power. Lift Power, a Jacksonville-based business, been around for more than 50 years, family-owned and operated, and always on the lookout for good folks, experienced lift truck and dock and door technicians. The benefits out of this world: 401k, company vehicle, paid training, sign-on bonus. Offers so great. Come see why Lift Power has been voted one of the best places to work for the past several years as well. We want you to be a part of the family. Don't let this opportunity slip by. To learn more, all you got to do is go to liftpower.com. Check them out at liftpower.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us. And at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us. And it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia. AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court: the Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or matt-jacksonville.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 2nd, 1968, in the NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics defeat the Los Angeles Lakers 4-2, winning their 10th NBA championship.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Res applied from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at zeroresjacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-filled sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks on Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. Go Sharks!
Prosser here. The Sharks look to get back in winning form this Saturday while you enjoy a fun-filled evening. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-filled, family fun, and check out our hometown Sharks. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff, 7 o'clock at the ViStar Memorial Arena. For tickets and the family 4-pack information, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700.
Go Sharks!
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I just found some filthy numbers. I'll get to Trevor Lawrence in a moment. Dylan, you found what Liam Cohen did with Baker Mayfield in the red zone last year, and it is absolutely staggering.
Red zone passing stats. This is on Pro Football Reference. I like looking at the red zone a lot because you win or lose games in the red zone. Difference between scoring a touchdown 7 and kicking a field goal 3. Most of the time, the winning and losing margin is 3 or 4 points. Baker Mayfield, 73% completion percentage in the red zone. There was a couple other ones that were right behind him, like Tua, 71%, Lamar Jackson, 70%. But by and large, everybody else, Patrick Mahomes, 65%. Jared Goff, 65%. Sam Darnold, who had an excellent year, 63%. Jaden Daniels, excellent year, 62%. Baker Mayfield, 73%.
It's unbelievable. 57 to 78, 73.08%, 29 touchdowns, 1 interception. You go inside the 10-yard line, which is harder because obviously there's not as much space. You're dealing with 10 yards in the end zone. 33 of 48, 68.7%. He was behind only Bo Nix in that category. So he was 1 in the red zone. He was 2nd inside the 10. And, you get to Trevor. All right? As a team, Jacksonville was 29 of 50 in the red zone for 50%. Trevor Lawrence last year in the red zone, 16 for 36, 44.4%, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. Inside the 10, he was 8 of 20, so he completed 40% of his passes. I did throw 6 touchdowns. That is a category where I would expect in this season for this football team to jump mightily. Okay? I mean, 58% as a team. Trevor Lawrence, 44% in the red zone. That is encouraging if you consider where this team can go. Because those numbers are frightening. There's really no other way to say it. And again, that's a big part of this with Liam Cohen. I mean, Liam Cohen did some wonderful things in Tampa Bay. And again, he went on and on and on and on. He had that conversation, it was John Spytek, who worked with him in Tampa, who's now the general manager for the Las Vegas Raiders, who said he had just had a conversation with Liam Cohen. And Liam Cohen told John Spytek that he didn't realize it until he left, just how good that Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive line was. And again, that's been my emphasis the entire offseason. Fix it. And you got to give the team credit. They made 4 additions through free agency, and they've made 2 additions in the NFL draft. So obviously they saw that. And what you hope for is the perfect mix. The offensive line gets better. They're able to run the football. They got more skill position guys. I mean, they legitimately have 4 guys on this team. No matter where you give them the ball, they can score. 2 of them are rookies, Travis Hunter and Bayshell Tootin. No matter where they catch the ball, they have Tootin ran a 4.32. His split, let me find it again. It was like his 10-yard split that doesn't get enough recognition. All right, we're so entrenched with the 40. His 10-yard split.
149.
149.
Fastest 10-yard split among running backs at the combine. 5th fastest overall.
Think about how fast that is. A 149. You're running him on a screen, and he's able to get around the edge. He's gone.
And he had the best vertical.
Yes, he had 3 of those, and then I think he was second for the broad jump at 10-10. I mean, but he's got tape. Okay, he's got tape. He ran for nearly 1,200 yards this past season. His biggest problem is fumbles. All right, and you went through that with Tank. I mean, ETN cough went up. It was I think he only had 1 fumble, but it was a costly one. But if you look at Tootin and you look at Hunter, and then you add Brown and obviously Thomas Jr., you've got 4 guys on this football team. You just have to find a way to get the ball in their hands and let them take off. So, I mean, there's a real chance here. Your excitement is palpable. You should be getting after it on this Friday night with some serious wishful thinking. There's an opportunity here. Now, everything's got to come together. I get it. But there really is. 50-22, Ricky B. It's Bill Hickey here. I say they go up by 6 to 7 points per game. They go to 10 and 11 wins in the playoffs. I'm really going to have to try to taper my enthusiasm about that. Because I'd love to just say, sign me up, I'm on board. I'm still looking at a team that won 4 games a year ago, right? And 10 and 11, man, 10 win. It is, but it's a nasty schedule. We don't have the dates yet and all of that. I'm not even going to bother to do any of that until I, again, see when the games are. We know who the opponents are, when the games actually are. But I do. I mean, right now, why wouldn't you enjoy this? I mean, this is so much. Can you imagine if this was a bulky draft? They got Mason Graham in the first round, and come on. Yeah, 52-62. I think Williams squeezes out 9 wins. Miraculous offensive line starts, pick up 3rd and 1. Yes, thank you. There's nothing in the world that drives me more insane than how soft the Jaguars are at 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. Men. Okay? Men. That is what I want. I want everyone. I don't care if you've had 17 Pabst Blue Ribbons and you can't even open your eyes. It's 3rd and 1. You know the ball's going to Tank Bigsby, and the offensive line's going to line up all lathered up and push back the defense. First down, Jacksonville. I honestly want that more than an 80-yard bomb. That's just my brain. I love tough football in the ditch. Man football at the line of scrimmage. And the Jaguars have been so freaking soft. I hope they brought in some tough guys. I really do. Walker and Anton, shame to but White. He said he hopes White comes in as an example. Well, man, that's an awful lot to ask for a rookie. I hope one of these free agents comes in. We thought it was going to happen a year ago with Mitch Morse. No. Didn't happen. Sometimes free agents, you just don't know. I can go back to I talk about it often. I can go back to the time that Jared Odrick really embarrassed himself and the entire organization in San Diego. I'm sitting right there as the sideline reporter being like, this is an awful look, and no one said anything to him. And I was doing a weekly show with Malik Jackson, and during the break, Malik's like, what do you want me to do? I've been here for 4 games. Not my role. Again, even back then, the Jaguars didn't have any leaders. Man, you need a leader. You need an alpha. You need a bad man on the offensive line. That's the one position. And I know when you think bad man, you want someone that's a total knucklehead on defense, right? That is completely fierce and is a headhunter and, is going to play to the echo of the whistle. I want one on the offensive line. I can't even begin to think who the last offensive lineman was around here who had that in him. And do me a favor. It's Friday. Don't Cam Robinson me on this Friday. I'm in no mood. Okay? He was a disappointment. (0193) We're going to have a minimum of 3 new offensive line starters. Might be 4 new starters. Yeah, no doubt. Asking for wins here. Does Tootin have like 9 fumbles in the last 2 years? No, he has 4 and 1 lost fumble, is what I've read in a couple of places. 4, 1 lost is what I may be wrong on that, but that's what I actually did see. I mean, that's the knock on him, right? Tank got here, and it seemed like Tank was felt like Tank was in outer space, right? It just felt like Tank wasn't mentally prepared to play. And we all remember that one play where he got rid of the ball before, the knee touching in college, which is the stupidest rule in college football. I mean, just change that already. For crying out loud, you're paying guys $3-4 million a year in college football. Get rid of the stupid rule of when your knee touches in college football, the whistle gets blown right then. Let's see. Matt Kang Cooper on YouTube says Brad Meester's the last guy. I'll give you that. Taylor's the best offensive line we've had since Brown. Taylor was very overrated. He wasn't worth the $20 million a year. Ballou, this is from Robert. Wyatt and Patrick will bring some nastiness to the offensive line. Mr. Know-It-All says to Ballou, who you telling Ballou we can't get a 3rd and 1 to save the soul of the team? I want to see it, Mr. Know-It-All. Why don't you buy some front row seats, get down there, cup your hands, and scream at that team to get a first down? I'm here for it. I'll buy you a White Claw after the game.
Ain't no laundry drinking claws, baby.
Oh, my buddy the Woodcock drinks those things. And, man, I like 2 years ago, it was like 100 out. And I bet I drank 18 of those bad boys. And then I'm hanging with it. And all of a sudden, like, the sugar kicked in. And I learned at that exact moment that I had diabetes or something. Because everything in my body started freaking out.
I can only have like 2 of them before I'm like, yeah, this is too much.
The sugar. Yeah. I used to do years ago, like the breakfast beers, the old, what were they called? Like the Bartles and the Smirnoff Ices.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Because, you know, I love to start with the Bloody Mary. By the way, the best Bloody Mary in town is the Blue Crab. It's open until 9 o'clock tonight. And tomorrow, remember on Sunday, they're open from 12:30 to 9. They have $2.50 Bloody Marys. I may have to just spend a week there on Sunday at the Blue Crab House. It's the best Bloody Mary mix I've ever had. And I had some good stuff at the airport last Sunday when I was flying back from New Orleans with my daughter. But it could not compare to the Blue Crab House. 58-91 Blue. Our defense was pitiful last year. We score more for sure, but the issue will be, can the D step it up? Who is the difference maker on that side? I think there's a chance. I don't think they've been used right. They haven't been coached up. I still think there's an opportunity there. All right, the interior defensive line is the obvious Achilles heel. But I'm going to say this. I'm openly questioning the professionalism of Eric Armstead. I think he responds. He is a prideful man. He is a good man. Set aside agreeing with that Aziz tweet, which was Bush. Yeah, that's another part about being a man. And I don't want to get into that right now because I'm heading to a break. But this team did not fight when Trevor was knocked silly. I hope under the Baselli, Gladstone, Cohen administration that if you rock the world of your $275 million quarterback, you got some men on that team who are going to lose their freaking mind. Okay? End of story. And look at how that organization fought. Doug Peters I'm going to have to talk with Jerry and Jones. We can't look at what they did in Houston. Look what Nick Cesario did in Houston. The whole world knew that Houston was wrong. There's no defending Houston. Trevor got down in plenty of time. Everyone ripped Houston. You know what Cesario did? You know what their head coach did? They both stood up and defended their player and put themselves against everyone else. Where this former regime turned their cheek. That's a part right there. And you know what? I've known Tony Baselli since 1995. You touch Mark Brunell, Tony Baselli, and that offensive line, they were ready to crush you. Look at what this team did to defend Lawrence. I got to believe that's a big part of what's coming up in 2025 as well. Final thoughts on the other side. My name is Rick Ballou, wishing you an outstanding weekend.
He's the life of the party.
Let's all get down, get funky.
Joe C.
I do voices.
Join the radio party.
Play that funky music, white boy.
2 to 4.
Let's play this backwards and see if it gets any better.
On 1010XL.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, I've got that craving again. How about some Mr. Chubby's wings?
Have you had the Chubby style wings? Grilled to perfection with Chubby's secret seasoning.
You know I have. They are so delicious. I swear you can't find anywhere in town with better wings and better prices on drinks.
So many different specials each night, too. Well, I'm ready to chub it up again.
Me too.
See all their specials at MrChubby'sWings.com. Locations on Fleming Island, the West Side, and now Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hello. The Checkmate Coatings phone line has you covered from the floor up. From tough sports topics to strong surfaces, Checkmate Coatings is your floor's missing piece and your connection to the sports world on 1010XL.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This Mother's Day season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. Buy a $75 gift card or more and guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes a perfect gift for everyone. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
If you'd like to help support domestic violence victims, you can get involved in the Par for a Purpose golf tournament, hosted by Micah's Place at the Golf Club of Amelia Island on June 20th. Register and learn more at micahsplace.org/golf.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
If you're a dog lover who wants to help animals, our furry friends need exercise and time out of their kennels. You can make a difference in a dog's life at volunteer@jaxhumane.org.
Military veterans have always protected us, and in Jacksonville, thousands of our veterans suffer from mental wounds like PTSD. Now it's time to return the favor. Learn how you can help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
You know, I'm feeling a great deal of emotion on this Friday. I really am. This isn't a mail it in, throw it away type of Friday. Hell no. I have a feeling it's going to be a big time for you folks out there. My good buddy Andy Jones with Judy Agulia is going to be playing. Let me see. Where is he going to be playing? I usually don't promote those. I don't spend. But he'll be at Bay Meadows tonight, 9 to 12. Whiskey Jacks. I'd love to make it out there, but, man, I got a sore throat, and I got some stuffiness in the ears and the nose, and I got a golf game tomorrow. So, plus I need to rest the liver after 2 weeks ago. And where the hell did I go? Jamaica. And then last Saturday at Bourbon Street. So, but it's always fun. Love partying with those guys, and I'll get out. I'm fired up for the summer. I just want to slow down a little bit. It's already May 2nd. Big news today: the retirement of Greg Popovich. He is out. I think he's 4th all time in wins. Won 5 NBA championships. Pop is loved by so many. I think he's become really kind of grouchy and bitter late in life, but that's just my opinion from afar. But anyway, he will roll off into the sunset. Tonight's an interesting night. We got some big games playoff-wise. Game 6 in San Francisco. Golden State can close out the Houston Rockets. They are favored by 5.5 points tonight. Kind of a low total here. 207 and a hook for those of you who are going to play it. And my goodness, what more could you ask for than the Winnipeg Jets trying to win tonight in St. Louis? Who do you liking that one, Dylan?
Flip a coin, Rick.
Okay, if it's flip a coin, I'll take Winnipeg. They're up 3-2. I mean, they won 56 games in the regular season. But I always talk about this in hockey. It's weird. Hockey's the one sport where being at home for a Game 7 is almost bothersome. It's almost a nuisance. You know, ticket request, this and that. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. The answer would be 100%. If you asked an NFL fan or a college football fan, you know, you got a big game, where would you rather play? It's at home. Baseball, same deal. Basketball, home floor, absolutely. But again, they're different in hockey. And we'll see if St. Louis can win here tonight and force a Game 7 coming up over the weekend. It is going to be a really good weekend. Tomorrow night, the game I'm absolutely looking forward to is in Dallas, where that series is locked at 3. The Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars at the American Airlines Center. So that'll be going on Saturday night. If you are a hockey fan, and you NBA fans as well, you know, it's all about Denver right now. The Nuggets will try to get it done against Los Angeles. Clippers and the Nuggets will play. That'll be Game 7 coming up tomorrow night as well. All right, I'm going to be back with you Monday at 6. Next week's going to be interesting. I was kind of hoping that we'd get Friday out on the grass to watch the rookies, because that would have given me just a tremendous amount to discuss on Friday night's program, but that is not going to be the case. Instead, we'll get the opportunity on Saturday. And 3 rookie minicamp sessions, media accessibility on that Saturday. And then it's right around the corner. I mean, before you know it, April 19th will be here. It will be OTA number 1. We'll get an opportunity at the Miller Electric Center to see all 90 players on the Jaguars roster.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Jaguars last year, offensively, 26th in the NFL. They averaged 18.8 points a game.
Yeah, it was bad.
3.2 points they average in the first quarter.
First quarter, I mean, how many 3-and-outs? It was like a rite of passage, whether they get the opening kickoff and have a 3-and-out, or if they get the opening kickoff in the second half, a 3-and-out. It was ridiculous time after time after time.
It was as if they were legitimately in a coma offensively until about 1:30.
So bad. And that's what's going to be refreshing, or at least I hope it's going to be refreshing, to see some innovation maybe in the first quarter this year with Liam Cohen, Grant Udinski, Spencer Whipple, and the new coaching stuff.
All right, everything they put together. And let's consider what Liam Cohen turned around in Tampa. Last in rushing, top 3 in rushing. Baker Mayfield, top red zone passing quarterback last year in the NFL. 18.8 points, realistically, in 1 year. How many more points a game can they score?
I mean, realistically, if you go from 18 to 22, 23,
yeah.
I think that's not unfathomable.
That's what I said. I said
right?
22.8. I said, 5 points, 22.8.
That would be a huge deal. What about Prisco on the Frangie show earlier? It's 2 weeks in a row, apparently, he said it, that he thinks Fred Johnson is going to be the starting left tackle.
You could have Fred Johnson at left tackle. You could have Milam at left guard.
Yeah.
And I even heard Patrick McCarry maybe at left guard and Milam going over to right guard. So, and again, to me, I know I say this often, but it's the way I feel. It is going to be the most competitive position group of anything that's happening over at the Miller Electric Center. But it's going to be so hard to try to figure out because they're not hitting.
Yeah, I think offensive line, I think safety is going to be interesting as well.
Yep.
Who are going to be the two starting safeties? Because Eric Murray, you would think, would be one. Is it as simple as Darnell Savage? I mean, Antonio Johnson, obviously Caleb Ransaw's in the mix there. So, yeah, safety and offensive line to me are the two biggest battles.
What do you got coming up tonight?
Yeah, we'll obviously do a lot of Jaguar draft talk. Leon Searcy's going to join me. I'll get the former Pro Bowler on to talk about his thoughts on the Jaguar draft. Also, Shane Hallam of Draft Sharks reacts to the draft as well. A lot to do with you till 10 o'clock tonight.
All right. Sounds good. Have a lot of fun. That's Hacker. He's been doing double duty this week, and he'll get you started here in just a couple of minutes. That'll do it for us. Thank you to Donovan Darius for joining us. Thank you to our producer. He is Dylan Denmark. I'm already fired up to be back here on Monday, 6 o'clock. It'll be a great week here. And that is it. Folks, if you're going out there and you're having a good time, please do. Enjoy yourself. Just do not drive if you have been drinking. That'll do it. Have an outstanding weekend. My name is Rick Ballou. We'll talk Monday at 6 o'clock.